Our new topic is UK residency. Keep remember, if a person meets the criteria of UK residency, then the person has to pay UK tax on income and capital gains earned in UK. What's included in the word person? So both individuals and companies are classified as person. So if any individual or any company meets the criteria of UK residency, then that person or the company has to pay UK tax on income and capital gains earned in UK. Or now, next, how to find UK residency status. Keep remember, a statutory test of residence has been introduced to determine a person's residency status each tax year as follows. So there are few steps to find the residency. Number one, first of all, we will check the auto residency test. If auto residency test is met, so the person would be considered as a UK resident. But if the auto residency test is not meeting, so then we have to check the auto non-residency test. If this test is met, so the person would be considered as a UK non-resident. And but non-residency test is also not met, then we have to follow the ties test for the residency status. So what exactly is this auto residency test? The following people will automatically be treated as UK resident if they meet any of the one, two, or third point. The following person would automatically be treated as UK residents if they meet any of the one or two or three, like first 3 points. If they are meeting any one of the 3 points, then the person would be considered as a UK resident. Now, what exactly is this first point? A person who is in the UK for 183 days or more during a tax year, a person whose only home in the UK, or a person who carries out full-time work in the UK. If the person meeting any of the point 1, 2, or 3, then he will be UK resident. But if the person not meeting any of the point 1, 2, 3, then check for auto non-residency test. Auto non-residency test subject to not meeting any of the auto residency tests, like from these 3 points. If the person is not meeting any of the points, the following people will automatically be treated as non-UK resident if they meet any of the fourth, fifth, and sixth point. So non-residency test is as follows. A person who is in the UK for less than 16 days during a tax year, a person who is in the UK for less than 46 days during a tax year, and who has not been resident during the 3 previous tax years. And sixth point is a person who works full-time overseas, subject to them not being in the UK for more than 90 days during a tax year. If the person meeting any of the point fourth, fifth, and sixth, then he would be considered as not UK resident. But if the person not meeting any of the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth point, then check for the ties test. Now, learn the sequence. First of all, we need to check the auto residency test. If meeting, then person is UK resident. If not meeting auto residency test, then check auto non-residency test. If meeting non-residency test, person will be non-resident. But not meeting any of the fourth, fifth, or sixth point, then check for the ties test. Now, let's start the discussion of ties test, where a person's residence status cannot be determined according to any of the two automatic tests. Any of the two automatic tests means auto residency and auto non-residency. If a person residency status cannot be determined according to any of the two automatic residency tests, then her status will be based on how many ties they have with UK and how many days they stay in the UK during a tax year. There are 5 UK ties. Keep remember, we have to link these ties with the number of days. We have to link these ties with the number of days in UK. So let's start discussing the points one by one. A, having close family, a spouse or civil partner or a minor child in the UK. B, having a house in the UK which is made use during the tax year. C, doing substantive work in the UK. D, being in the UK more than 90 days during either of the two previous tax years. E, spending more time in UK than any other country in a tax year. So we have to link these five ties with the number of days. So number of days are also dependent that the person was previously resident or previously not resident. So if a person was previously resident in the UK, so if the person was previously resident in the UK for this year, if he's spending less than 16 days, then automatically non-residence. But if a person was previously not previously resident and now spending days in UK from 16 to 45 days, then he is required to meet 4 UK ties. Then if a person was previously resident and staying in the UK for 46 to 90 days, in that case a person would require 3 UK ties or more. Keep remember, this table is also given in exam. This table is also given in exam. So now let's talk about not previously resident. Let's say a person who was not resident in the previous tax year, and now for the current year, for the current tax year, we are going to check her or his residence status. So let's say if a person is spending 91 to 120 days in UK in a fiscal year and he was not previously resident, then he need to meet at least 3 UK ties. And let's say if a person is spending 121 to 182 days and was not previously resident, then he is required to meet at least 2 UK ties. Means from any of from to any of these 5 points. Let's say a person who is actually spending for 16 to 45 days in UK in this tax year and was not previously resident, then the person would automatically be treated as not resident. So all these are required to keep in mind: residency test, non-residency test, and the ties test, and ties test to be linked with the number of days in UK.